growth.
It is.
Now, going back to Goleman, he introduces this concept
Yeah.
called primal leadership.
Right.
I'm really intrigued by that idea. Can you explain what he means by that?
Yeah, this is where Goleman delves into the powerful
Okay.
and often unconscious ways
Mhm.
in which a leader's emotions can actually influence the entire team.
Okay.
He calls it primal because it taps into these deep-seated evolutionary responses
Mm-hmm.
to emotional cues.
So it's almost like our brains are wired to pick up on
Yeah.
and respond to the emotional states of those around us,
Uh,
especially those in positions of authority.
Precisely. Think back to our earlier example of the tech company division head with the volatile temper. His anger and frustration, they weren't just his own.
Right.
They spread throughout the team,
Yeah.
creating a ripple effect of negativity
Wow.
that impacted everyone's performance.
That's such a powerful example of how a leader's emotions
Right.
can create this contagious emotional climate,
Yes.
for better or for worse.
Exactly.
It makes me wonder, have you ever experienced this
Oh, yeah.
primal leadership phenomenon?
Absolutely. I've worked with leaders who,
Mm-hmm.
even without saying a word,
Yeah.
could shift the entire mood of a room.
Yeah, it's almost palpable.
It really is. And Goleman's research suggests
Mm-hmm.
that this primal leadership effect is amplified
Okay.
when leaders cultivate
Yeah.
positive group emotional intelligence.
Okay, now I'm really interested in this idea of group emotional intelligence.
Wow.
Can you explain what that means?
It's essentially the collective ability of a group
Okay.
to recognize, understand, and manage emotions effectively.
Okay.
When a team has high group emotional intelligence, there's a sense of shared empathy,
Right.
open communication, and a willingness to address conflict constructively.
So it's not just about individual team members having high EQ.
Right.
It's about creating a culture where emotional intelligence is valued.
Exactly. And Goleman provides a really compelling example of this in action.
Okay.
He studied a team of software developers
All right.
who were struggling to meet deadlines
Mm-hmm.
and deliver high-quality work.
Oh, I can relate to that. Software development can be so stressful,
Yeah.
especially when the deadlines are looming. What was the dynamic like within the team?
Well, initially, the team leader was hyper-focused on technical solutions,
Okay.
trying to optimize workflows and improve code quality.
Yeah.
But he soon realized that the real issue wasn't technical.
Cool.
It was emotional.
Interesting.
The team was suffering from low morale,
Yeah.
communication breakdowns,
Okay.
and a general sense of frustration.
So it sounds like a classic case of focusing on the symptoms
Yeah.
rather than the underlying cause.
Exactly.
What did the leader do to address the emotional issues?
Well, instead of just pushing harder on the technical side,
Hmm.
he decided to focus on cultivating that positive group emotional intelligence.
Right.
He started by encouraging open and honest communication
Yeah.
about the challenges they were facing.
Hmm.
He made a conscious effort to actually listen
Okay.
to team members' concerns and validate their feelings.
So he created a space where people felt safe to speak up
Yes.
and share their struggles.
Exactly. And he didn't stop there.
Right.
He also introduced some team-building exercises
Mm.
designed to foster camaraderie and trust.
Okay.
These exercises focused on strengthening communication skills,
Right.
developing empathy, and learning how to work together more effectively.
I imagine that was a big shift
It was.
from the purely technical focus
Uh-huh.
that the team had before.
Yes.
What was the impact of these changes?
Well, the transformation was remarkable.
Really?
As the team's group emotional intelligence grew, communication improved dramatically.
Okay.
Collaboration became more seamless,
Mm-hmm.
and conflicts were resolved more constructively.
So by addressing the underlying emotional issues
Yeah.
and cultivating a culture of emotional intelligence,
Yes.
the leader was able to unlock the team's true potential.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And not only did their productivity increase,
Wow.
but the quality of their work improved significantly.
There you go.
They were no longer just coding, they were collaborating,
Yeah.
innovating, and genuinely enjoying the process.
It's a powerful example of how investing in emotional intelligence,
It is.
both individually and collectively,
Right.
can lead to real positive results.
Absolutely.
And it reinforces this idea that leadership isn't just about
Yeah.
technical expertise or strategic brilliance, but about understanding and harnessing the power of emotions.
I completely agree. It's about creating a work environment where
Yeah.
people feel valued, supported, and empowered to do their best work.
Yeah.
And that starts with leaders who are self-aware,
Mhm.
empathetic, and skilled at managing their own emotions.
Right.
And those of their team.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive
It has.
into the world of leadership and emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
We've explored the core components of EQ, unpacked all these different leadership styles
Yeah.
and their impact on team dynamics,
Right.
and delved into that powerful concept
Yes.
of primal leadership.
Absolutely.
We've seen how a leader's emotions can create this ripple effect throughout the team, shaping the emotional climate, and ultimately influencing performance.
Yes.
And we've explored how cultivating positive group emotional intelligence can lead to increased collaboration,
Right.
creativity, and overall effectiveness.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the most important takeaways here
Yeah.
is that leadership isn't just about holding a fancy title.
Right.
It's about a set of skills and an attitude that anyone can cultivate, regardless of their position or role.
Absolutely. Whether you're leading a team or a project,
Yeah.
or even just yourself,
Right.
understanding these principles of emotional intelligence and leadership can be so valuable.
Yeah.
It's about becoming more self-aware, developing your empathy,
Right.
and learning how to build those strong, healthy relationships with others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listener with this question.
Yeah.
Now that you understand the power of emotional intelligence in leadership, how might you cultivate these skills in yourself,
Right.
regardless of your current role?
That's a great question.
Remember, leadership is not just a position.
Exactly.
It's an attitude
Yes.
and a set of skills that can be developed.
Absolutely. It's a question worth pondering because, in a sense, we're all leaders in our own lives,
Yeah, man.
you know, navigating relationships and pursuing goals.
Right.
So even if you're not in a formal leadership position right now, these skills can still make a huge difference.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It's so empowering because it means that anyone can step into a leadership role in their own way.
Right.
It's not about waiting for permission or a promotion.
Exactly.
It's about taking initiative and making a positive impact
Yeah.
wherever you are.
Absolutely. And one of the best ways to start developing these skills
Yeah.
is to simply pay attention to your own emotions
Okay.
and how they influence your actions
Right.
and interactions with others.
So maybe keeping a journal or practicing mindfulness could be helpful.
Those are great strategies.
Yeah.
And remember, self-management goes hand in hand with self-awareness.
Right.
Once you start to understand your emotional triggers,
Yeah.
you can develop strategies for regulating your reactions, especially in those challenging situations.
So instead of reacting impulsively in the heat of the moment,
Yes,
you take a pause, breathe, and then respond
exactly.
in a more thoughtful and constructive way.
Precisely. It's about creating that space between stimulus and response.
Yeah.
So you can choose how you want to show up.
Right.
And as you become more adept at managing your own emotions, you'll naturally become more attuned to the emotions of others, which is really the essence of social awareness.
That makes sense. It's like the more we understand our own emotional landscape, the better equipped we are to navigate the emotional landscapes of others.
Exactly. And that ability to empathize
Right.
and see things from another person's perspective is crucial for building strong and healthy relationships, both personally and professionally.
It's about putting yourself in the other person's shoes,
Right.
trying to understand their feelings and motivations, even if they're different from your own.
Yes. And that's where relationship management comes into play.
Okay.
It's about using those insights to communicate effectively, resolve conflicts constructively, and build those bridges of understanding.
So it sounds like emotional intelligence is really the foundation
It is.
for creating a positive and productive work environment.
Yeah.
Whether you're leading a team or collaborating on a project or simply interacting with colleagues and clients.
I couldn't agree more. It's about creating a space where people feel seen, heard, and respected.
Right.
Where they can bring their best selves to the table
Absolutely.
and contribute their unique talents.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive
It has.
into the world of leadership and emotional intelligence.
It really has.
I feel like we've covered so much ground.
Yeah.
From the 4 core components of EQ to the different leadership styles and the impact of a leader's emotions on the entire team. It's been a pleasure exploring these concepts with you.
Likewise.
And I hope our listener feels equipped with this new understanding of what it means to lead with heart and how to cultivate those essential emotional intelligence skills in their own life.
That's a perfect note to end on. Yeah.
We encourage you to continue exploring these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Keep learning and keep growing as a leader in your own unique way.
Remember, leadership is not just a position,
Yeah,
it's a choice.
it is.
And it all starts with the willingness to look inward,
Mm-hmm.
understand yourself,
Right.
and then use that understanding to
Yeah.
connect with and inspire others.
Yes. That's it for this deep dive on leadership and emotional intelligence.
Yes,
We hope you've enjoyed the journey,
absolutely.
and we look forward to diving into another fascinating topic with you soon.
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering, because in a sense, we're all leaders in our own lives,
Right.
navigating relationships, pursuing goals.
Yeah.
So even if you're not in a formal leadership position,
Right.
these skills can still make a huge difference.
Yeah, I love that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's so empowering because it means that anyone can step into that leadership role
Absolutely.
in their own way.
Right.
It's not about waiting for permission or promotion. It's about taking initiative, making a positive impact.
Yeah, and one of the best ways to start developing these skills is to simply pay attention to your own emotions,
Okay.
how they influence your actions and your interactions with others.
So like keeping a journal or practicing mindfulness could be helpful.
Those are great strategies.
Yeah.
And remember, self-management goes hand in hand with self-awareness.
Right.
Once you start to understand your emotional triggers,
Yeah.
you can develop strategies for regulating your reactions,
Okay.
especially in those challenging situations.
Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a pause, breathe, and then respond.
Exactly.
Thoughtfully.
Precisely. It's about creating that space between stimulus and response.
Right.
So you can choose how you want to show up.
Okay.
And as you become more adept at managing your own emotions, you naturally become more attuned to the emotions of others, which is the essence of social awareness.
That makes sense. It's like the more we understand our own emotional landscape, the better we are to navigate the emotional landscapes of others.
Exactly. And that ability to empathize and see things from another person's perspective
Right.
is crucial for building those strong, healthy relationships, both personally and professionally.
Putting yourself in the other person's shoes.
Right.
Trying to understand their feelings and motivations, even if they're different from your own.
Yes. And that's where relationship management comes in.
Okay.
It's about using those insights to communicate, effectively resolve conflicts, and build those bridges of understanding.
So it sounds like emotional intelligence is really the foundation for creating a positive and productive work environment.
Absolutely.
Whether you're leading a team or collaborating on a project or just interacting with colleagues.
I couldn't agree more. It's about creating a space where people feel seen, heard, and respected.
Right.
Where they can bring their best selves to the table and contribute their unique talents.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive.
It has.
Into leadership and emotional intelligence.
It really has. We've covered so much ground.
We have.
From the 4 core components of EQ to the different leadership styles.
Yeah.
And the impact of a leader's emotions on the whole team.
It's been such a pleasure exploring these concepts with you.
Likewise, I hope our listener feels equipped with a new understanding of what it means to lead with heart.
Yeah.
And how to cultivate those emotional intelligence skills in their own life.
It's been great, and we encourage you to continue exploring these ideas, keep learning, and keep growing as a leader in your own way.
Remember, leadership's not just a position, it's a choice.
It is.
And it all starts with that willingness to look inward and understand yourself, and then use that understanding to connect with and inspire others.
That's it for this deep dive on leadership and emotional intelligence. We hope you enjoyed the journey, and we look forward to diving into another fascinating topic